Hello everyone and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. Today we will see how to make the HUD elements or the HUD design. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to another After Effects tutorial. If this is your first time here and you want to learn After Effects and motion graphics, start now by subscribing to my channel and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. So today we will be making the HUD design, what you see in the movies like Iron Man and this kind of futuristic graphics. So let's get started. I am here in After Effects 2019, but don't worry, if you have any older version you can do the same technique. We will start by making this tracking code, okay, like searching or decrypting something. And I will start by making composition, new composition, and I will choose 1080p with 10 seconds. I hit OK. I will write my text here. Again, Motion Hub, and I'm using the font Contracts, which is some kind of futuristic font, and I will move the text here and maybe move it a little bit to the left, and I will be adding the 3 dots in another separate text. So I will add a new text and add 3 points, and I will align it next to this word. You can use the roll, okay, it's fine. And let's start by animating the dots. So I will open the text layer, the 3 dots, I will call it 3 dots. I'm going to open the 3 dots layer and I will add an animator, opacity, set the opacity to 0. Now open the run selector and then we'll make 2 keyframes. Click on the stopwatch next to the offset and then go with the page down like 3, and I will set it to 100, and this is what we have right now. I can move the keyframes to make it slower like this. I will set it to 1 second. Now with the Alt key pressed, click on the stopwatch next to the offset. We will be adding an expression to make it loop. Okay, so you just click here and choose properties, loop out type cycle, this one, and hit enter. Now we have these 3 dots animating for the full time. Okay, so now I will click on the rectangle tool and let's choose the rounded rectangle tool, and I will draw a rectangle. I will remove the stroke and I will choose the fill. Now I will move the anchor point with the pan behind tool. Click on the control key and move the anchor point to the center. Now I will go to transform and I will set the skew to 15. Okay, and now I will add a repeater. Okay, and I will open the repeater, open the transform repeater and change it to 42 for example, and I will make more copies, so 24 is fine, and I will move it to center. Okay, and with the layer selected, hit the T on the keyboard to reveal the opacity and set it to 10. Hit the Ctrl D on the keyboard to duplicate the layer, and again we will hit T to reveal the opacity and set it to 100%. I will choose another color, let's say this orange color, and I will open the content and go to the repeater, and we will animate the number of copies. click on the stopwatch next to copies and set it to 0, and go to something like 10 seconds and set it to 24. Okay, so now if we run preview this, we will get it like this. If you want to make it faster, of course, we'll move the keyframe and we will get this. Okay, so maybe I need to align everything to the center. Okay, I will now let's move to something else. I will make new composition, hit OK, and I will draw a circle with the ellipse tool, and let's disable the title action safe. I will draw a circle, simple circle. I will adjust the anchor point with the Control key. Okay, now I will add a repeater, and let's set it. Open the transform repeater, set the position to 0, X position, and we will change the Y position like this. Okay, so maybe we need to make it smaller. I will open the ellipse path and I will change the size to 75. Now I will reduce the position to 100. Now we will add an expression to make it dynamic. With the Alt key pressed, click on the stopwatch next to the copy, and we will add this time wiggle, and we open parentheses, and we will set for the frequency and the number. So I will choose 5. Okay, so now this is what we have. Maybe we need to reduce it to something like 3. So I will change the color to white and select the layer, and I will move it here and hit S on the keyboard to reveal the scale, and I will scale it down to 50%. So I will select the layer, Ctrl D to duplicate it, and I will move it here. Again, Ctrl D to duplicate it. Okay, I will select all the layers, Ctrl D, and I will move them here. I will select all the layers, again Ctrl D, and I will choose another color to differentiate them, like orange, and then I will add new null object, select the orange layers and parent them to the null object, hit S on the keyboard and the null object selected, and then open the constraint proportion and set it to -100 in the Y position. And now we have a copy of the layers. So let's animate it and see what we have done. Select the ellipse tool and we will draw a circle, and I will align it to the center. Okay, I will hit Ctrl D to duplicate the layer and hit S on the keyboard to reveal the scale and set it to 150. Again Ctrl D, S, 200, Ctrl D, hit S, 250, again Ctrl D, and I can add +50, it will become 300, and so on. Like now I will select all the layers, hit U, and then I will set the stroke to 1. Okay, and then I will set the last one to 2. Okay, now I will select the bottom layers and I will hit T and set the opacity to something like 50%. Now let's add the lines. I will activate the title action safe. Okay, and I will, with the pen tool, I will draw a line. like this. I will move it to the center, and again we need to move the anchor point to here. Okay, again I will add a repeater and open the transform repeater 1 and set the position to 0. Now we will rotate it, and I will add extra layers, extra copies, like 9 copies. Okay, and if it's not perfect, you can play with the anchor point here to correct the anchor point. So -10. Okay, and I will choose 45. Okay, now I will select the layer and hit T in the keyboard and make it 50 again. I will select the top layer and I will hit Ctrl D again, and this time I will set the stroke to 4, and I will add a trim path. I will set it to something like 30. I will change it to red so you can see it better. So what I've done, I duplicated the first line, and I adjusted the stroke. Okay, I set it to something extra like 4, and I trimmed the path so it makes something different, and I will reduce the number of copy. So I will go to repeater and I will set it to, we need only 4, and I will change the rotation to 90, and we will have this kind of cross. Okay, so let's set it back to white, and maybe we need to reduce this layer. I will set them to 10 maybe, or 20. I will select this circle, the outside circle, Ctrl D, and hit S on the keyboard and make something like this, and I will set the stroke to 1. Again I will add a trim path and make it like this. Okay, Ctrl D and hit R on the keyboard, and we will rotate it to the opposite side. Now I will select another color for these layers. Let's set them to yellow, and I will add new null object, and I will select both layers and parent them to the null. Now hit R on the keyboard with the null object selected, and we will rotate them like this. Now with Alt key pressed, click on the stopwatch to activate the expression, and we will add wiggle, and then 1,100, and this is what we have right now. I will select this circle and I will hit Ctrl D to duplicate it, and this time I will activate the fill and I will remove the stroke, and let's change it to another color so you can see it better. And now I will add in the effect and preset, I will add a radial wipe. Okay, and let's set it to something like 40, and with Alt key pressed on the keyboard, click on the stopwatch next to the star angle, and I will write time times 100, and this will make it rotating. So now we can change the color to something like red, and I will hit T on the keyboard to reveal the opacity, and I will set it to 20, and now we will have this kind of effect rotating. I will select the circle and I will add trim path. I will set a keyframe here and move it to something like 1 second, and I will set 0. We'll have this animation. Again, I can select the trim path and hit Ctrl C, and I can paste it to everything. Okay, and we will have them animated. So now I will hit U, and I will move the keyframes in different order to make the animation more interesting. And this is what we have right now. Again, we will paste the trim path effect to these layers, and we will have this animation. I will make them faster. With the ellipse tool, I will make a circle here. I will set it to red. I will duplicate the ellipse one, Ctrl D, and then I will open the ellipse path and set it to something like this. And I will disable the fill effect, and I will activate the stroke and set it to something like 2. And I will change the color to red. Now we have our dot. Let's animate the transparency. I will start from the beginning, hit T on the keyboard, go 1 frame with the page down and set it to 100. Again, page down 0, page down 100. And let's see, we can make it slower. With Alt key pressed, I will adjust the keyframes and like this. And again, we'll add an expression. With Alt key pressed, click on the stopwatch, and we will add the property and loop out, and hit enter. And now we have this blinking dot, our target, and I will move it anywhere here. Now let's make our last example. I will make new composition. I will disable the title action save, and again we will start with ellipse tool, draw a circle, set it to center. I will adjust the anchor point. I will align it to center. Now let's remove the fill and add a stroke. Let's say 4. Select the layer, Ctrl D, hit S and make it smaller. Ctrl D and hit S, make it bigger. This time I will adjust the stroke, and I will open the content ellipse, go to stroke 1, and this time we will change the activate the dash, and we will get this one. Now I will again duplicate this circle, Ctrl D, hit S and make it like this, and Ctrl D, hit S, make it here. Okay, and then I will add a trim path, and I will set it. Let's remove the toggle mask to see the effect better, and I will set it to something like 20. Again, I will add a repeater, and open the repeater, set the position to 0, and set the rotation to 90. Again, we need to adjust the anchor point, and then I will go to the ellipse tool and open the stroke, and I will set the line cap to round cap and the meter to round, and let's adjust the stroke to something like 25. Okay, and I will hit R on the keyboard to activate the rotation, and I will add an expression, wiggle, and the first thing is the speed of the frequency of the wiggling, and this is the value, like I will put 90, and we will get this wiggling effect. If we want to make it faster, of course we can set this one to 5, and it will be like this. Now let's rotate this one, and I will hit R on the keyboard, and with the Alt key pressed I will click on the rotation, and I will set times 100 for example, and it will be rotating. Let's make it 5. Okay, so let's add more interesting things, and this time I will add a rectangle, and I will set it to 3. I will align it to the center, and with the pen tool I need to move the anchor point to the center. Let's activate the title action safe and move it here. Okay, great. Now I will add a repeater. I will open the repeater, open the transform, set the position to 0, and set the rotation to 50. Again, you need to play with the anchor point here. I will add more copies, and this is what we have. I will go to the rectangle path, and I will change the rotation to something like this. Now let's go to the repeater, and I will add an expression to the copies. This time with Alt key pressed, click on the stopwatch next to copies, and I will write wiggle, and 1, 10. Let's see what happened now. Let's add more things, and again I will select this circle, Ctrl D, and scale it down, and I will adjust the stroke. Okay, and then I will add a trim path and set it to something like this. Hit R on the keyboard, R, add an expression, time times 45, and then we will have it like this. So that's it for today. I hope this tutorial was useful for you. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe and share and add your comments.